Hey, and welcome to The Office Field Guide. My name's Chris. I'm reviewing every episode of The Office ever, and today we're looking at healthcare.
Have you seen it?
No, I have a life.
Interesting. What's that like?
Healthcare was written by Paul Lieberstein and directed by Ken Whittingham. It originally aired on April 5th, 2005, was viewed by 5.8 million people, and currently has a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb. And for healthcare, I'm not gonna do a normal trivia. Instead, I want you to comment your own made-up ailment that you want covered under Dwight's plan.
Government-created killer nanorobot infection.
Answer that question, spout out the Easter egg, and leave the best emoji sequence summing up next week's episode, and you'll get your name in that video. Today we're gonna talk about some improvised diseases, some slick camera work, and probably a little bit about the silence. And be warned, there may be spoilers ahead. With that, let's get awkward.
I understand nothing.
Okay, and I know this has nothing to do with this episode per se, but what's the deal with this giant framed poster behind Pam's desk? I have so many questions, like, why is this framed? Why is it so big? Is breakfast really gonna be served? What kind of breakfast is gonna be served? Where is this gonna be served at? Is this an annual thing? It's missing a date. How is everyone supposed to know when this is? Why is it still hanging on the wall, at least in season 5? Okay, but par for the course for season 1 field guides, we're gonna talk about some firsts. First up is one of Michael's favorite things to do ever, and that's references and citations.
I'm Mark from Mark.
Whose line is it anyway is also referenced.
This is my world. This is improv. This is whose line is it anyway?
That establishes Michael's love for improv.
Talk! Just talk! Shut up!
But it also makes us wonder why he doesn't recognize Josh from Stanford as...
Your Majesty?
There's a very meta reference here.
You should try it sometime.
Wow. But then who would watch my TV?
More of Michael going down a rabbit hole.
Does that make me their doctor? Yes.
Dwight's dictatorial approach is first seen here.
You have forfeited that privilege. I have tried to treat you all as adults, but obviously I am the only adult here. Number 1, inverted penis.
And there are a few great early examples of how The Office will leverage the cameraman, not only as a character in the series, but how also the cinematography tells the story. First we have this shot, and it begins with this focus on Pam answering the phone. Then the cameraman is tasked to find a shot of Michael. And I'm sure this was planned out, but it's still impressive that they could find this shot of Carell through the blinds. Then we go back to Pam, and eventually back to Michael. The action of the cameraman finding the focus points in this series is one of the most engaging things throughout. Another good example of this is when Jim is in Michael's office. The camera's focused on Michael in a tight shot. Michael says he's too busy. The camera glances down at Michael's inbound folder thing, which contains only a post-it note inferring that he's obviously not busy at all.
He wasn't inferring, he was implying. You were inferring.
Then the camera glances up to Jim, noticing the same thing that we just noticed, which Jim's response focuses us back over to Michael.
I really think I should be concentrating on sales.
Really?
Yeah.
We know that Michael's lying about being busy, but this simple camera trajectory adds a whole nother level to the joke, especially when it could have looked like this.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
And there are a few interesting background details in this episode, like Creed Bratton is the voice of the elevator operator.
Well, it goes 300 feet into the earth, but it moves really slowly.
So it's not a free fall.
It's an industrial coal elevator.
Which would make that his first real speaking lines in the series. Although he can be heard in Diversity Day, and there's some debate about that.
Oh, this is a good one.
And one of my favorite things about this episode is that this entire sequence was improvised by Rainn Wilson.
All right, who did this? I'm not mad. I just want to know who did it so I can punish them. Government-created killer nanorobot infection.
And you can spot Angela and Brian breaking character. I personally love Count Chocolitis.
Count Chocolitis.
Sounds tough.
But dentro-hydroplosion is pretty good too.
Let's say that my teeth turn to liquid and then they drip down the back of my throat. What'd you call that?
That's spontaneous dentohydroplosion.
With that, let's dive into the deeper meaning.
What does a bean mean?
Someone please explain it to Cap.
Health issues are amongst some of the most taboo topics in the office place, along with religion, politics, race, and money.
Are you having money problems?
Monkey problems? No, I'm not having monkey problems.
It seems that real early on, the office wanted to make it really clear that they wanted to explore these topics, using Michael, proxy Dwight in this case, to explore those issues.
I thought your vagina was removed during your hysterectomy.
But if cringe is what they were going for, the act of forcing employees to divulge their health issues in a public setting is so uncomfortable.
Okay, great. Dermatitis. Thank you, Angela. I'll make sure that's covered.
And that uncomfortable seed is planted here.
The uterus is different from a vagina. I still have a vagina.
Watered here.
Who wrote this hysterical one? Anal fissures.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, but no one here has it.
But the granddaddy of cringe in this episode is this unbroken silence.
Someone has it.
The original script that Lieberstein wrote for this included 2.5 minutes of complete unbroken silence. But the studio pushed back and they edited around it. I think the end result still conveyed that meaning. And what's that again?
Healthcare.
Right, healthcare. Healthcare is a benefit that some folks can get as a perk of being employed with a company. If you don't know, it basically helps you pay for your medical visits, procedures, emergencies, all of that, which get pretty expensive here in the States.
Because someone in this office is coming up with all this ridiculous stuff.
While not as direct, cutting healthcare to a cheaper plan is like lowering an employee's wages.
It's like a pay decrease.
Michael knows how unpopular this is gonna be, so he looks to have a scapegoat take the fall for him.
Oh, come on! That's horrible! Ah. Thanks, Dwight, for a crappy plan. Ah, damn!
All of this leads to Dwight's great monologue about healthcare in nature.
In the wild, healthcare is I hurt my leg, I can't run, a lion eats me, and I'm dead. I'm the lion. You're dead.
I love Dwight's outlook on things, but it is a reminder at this point in the series, what they're going for is this look at how humans cope with this modern world.
Hey, everybody! Ice cream sandwiches! Ah!
Okay, so in a capitalistic society, we often correlate concepts to the animal kingdom.
Does the tiger fire the monkey? Does the tiger transfer the monkey to another branch? Pun.
And that's that the bottom line is always going to take priority above everything else. It is interesting, though, the difference that we see in Michael. He's pretty aware that this is going to be an unpopular decision, but he's not seemingly concerned about his employees getting the best health coverage. Instead, he's worried about how he's going to look.
Doesn't matter. The point is, they're not unhappy anymore. They're out there thinking, wow, my boss really cares about me. He has a surprise. He's cool.
From corporate's point of view, they could just downsize and close the branch, but instead, they're trying to keep the branch alive, but just reduce cost. And this is where things get nuanced. However you look at it, there's a sense of hypocrisy or at least doublespeak. The company cares about their employees, but they have to cut corners, which will negatively impact their employees. But they cut those corners in order to save those employees from even worse consequences.
Downsizing?
There's no downsizing.
But it's up to businesses to make those tough decisions, and a lot of corporations actually appoint external consultants to do the heavy lifting of the unpopular work. See Office Space for more on that topic.
Oh, hi, Bob. Bob?
And this episode, I think, also comments on how businesses use distractions to get people to stop focusing on cutbacks and real-world problems with things like parties, minor awards, and whatever else your company may do to keep morale boosted.
It's a trip to Gettysburg.
That sounds super inspiring. I'm in.
Perhaps the best thing that we can squeeze from this episode is that we remember that our workplace is in the business of making money. It's not really a family. Our bosses are rarely our friends. When push comes to shove, what needs to be cut will be cut, whether it's our healthcare, our perks, our job. Man, season 1 is so fun, but the best case scenario that we can all have is find a job that you can be happy with your work, and if you work for someone else, have a healthy sense of paranoia about how your company is looking out for your best interest. But with that, let's rate this thing.
This is the worst. Drum roll!
All right, let's get this out of the way. I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5.
It's a suicide mission, you know?
Stick with me. For the same reason I didn't really give the pilot a solid rating is the same reason I hate rating healthcare.
Oh, it's awful.
Diversity Day was unique, but put that on hold for a second. Healthcare is slow and methodical. It's got some amazing cringe-filled moments, and you can tell that they're finding their footing and figuring out what to do with it along the way. But better than anything in Season 3, Season 4, Season 5? I mean, taking the lowest rated of those seasons, there's literally no way this episode holds a candle. So just to reiterate on my ratings, 2 out of 5 doesn't mean that I think this episode is just trash. I'm just grading it on an Office curve. Diversity Day does get a pass because of how incredibly charged and iconic it was. Healthcare, on the other hand, it's not the worst episode of The Office. That one's coming up soon. But it's not very good. I don't enjoy this one. Every time it comes on, I sigh, and it's not a lot of fun. There are some great iconic moments, and there are great memes that come from this one.
It's not going to be a popular
What's your
decision
job?
around the old orifice.
But overall, I just don't like this one. 2 out of 5 is what it's getting. But that's just what I think about healthcare. I know some Season 1 apologist is gonna hop on here and tell me why I'm wrong. Please, please do so. I keep asking people to tell me what they see in this season, and it always comes down to this kind of intangible je ne sais quoi that makes it amazing and right. I mean, we're all entitled to our opinions. I'm not here to tell anybody that they're wrong. I'm just saying what I think about this episode. So you tell me what you want in the comments, also with the comment contest, the emoji sequence. Check out our Discord so you can chat with more Office fans of the channel, and check out the Patreon if you want to look to support the channel. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.